René Magritte, The Treachery of Images. René Magritte was born November 21st, 1898, Lessens, Belgium. Magritte's earliest paintings were revolved around impressionistic in style, but later changed his style to surrealism, which is what he is most known for. And after becoming a leading member in this movement, influenced by many, his work often depicted ordinary objects in an unusual fashion. His work is known for challenging the views of perception and reality, creating a number of witty and thought-provoking images like The Treachery of Images. The Treachery of Images was created 1928 to 1929. It is an oil painting with the dimensions of 23.75 inches by 31.94 inches. It is located in Los Angeles County's Museum of Art, which is part of their private collection of art. I believe he wanted to challenge some notion of authority in which the painting clearly shows the image of a pipe, but he says that it's not, even though it clearly is. I think he does this to have his viewers try to prove him wrong, like the answer is right in our face and we just can't see it. Possibly to get his viewers to form their own conclusion, but if you ask me, he's just using reverse psychology to get people to think what they're seeing isn't so. But he's saying the painting itself is not a pipe, it's merely an image of the pipe, purposely to challenge viewers' representation of what things are and could be. He was also a part of the Dhaka movement, which was a collection of artists, many who rejected the logic and reason of modern capitalist society around World War I. Instead, he wanted to focus on expressing nonsense, irrationality, and to be jovial, and in some ways sarcastic, in their work as a form of protest, like Marcel Duchamp and Hugo Ball. From this, he became a leading member in this movement. Influenced by many, his work often depicted ordinary objects in an unusual fashion. His work is known for challenging the views and perception of reality. Since seeing this piece, I have been interested in the work of René. To me, it pushes the notion of what art can be and is. This can be seen within his piece, The Treachery of Images, also known as This Is Not a Pipe. I find this piece very strange or somewhat funny, not because of the piece, which is the image of a pipe, but the name, which is This Is Not a Pipe, even though it clearly is one. Like he's telling his viewers, you're wrong, shut up, whatever I say goes, and you can't tell me differently. When Magritte was a part of the Dhaka movement, his work of art was sarcastic and cynical, or should I say funny and amusing in nature, but still had this sense of wonder to his work. It is clean and very realistic, but at the same time very unreal and confusing. Like his work, the collective invention created in 1934, which is an image of a person where the top half of their body is a fish, while the other half is human legs. He still would create pieces like this till his death in August 15th, 1967. When being a part of the DACA movement, his pieces would feature many mundane house items, which was very common for DACA artists, but with his own style and flavor to it, like his piece La Movement Perpetual, which features a barrel in the background and a dumbbell, which is used to depict a figure within the painting, which is also his face. I will say it once again. René Magritte is a very intriguing person. His work of art seems so jovial, but some of them have a deeper meaning to them. Like the Treachery of Images, it's like he's actually, telling his viewers that their ways of seeing things were too linear and simple, and their representation of maybe even as a whole is too narrow-minded, or maybe he just likes messing with people. But by his own words, he says, everything we see hides another thing. We always want to see what is hidden, but what we see. The Treachery of Images is one of René's most well-known masterpieces, which was painted when he was 30 years old. It created a three-way paradox out of the conversational notion that objects corresponded to the word and images. When I think about René's Magritte, he comes off as playful and provocative, or he comes off as having a provocative sense of humor, and I think that's what pulls people to his work. This behavior is seen in many of his pieces which he created, and become some of his most well-known pieces throughout the course of his career. The Treachery of Images is the best example of his fascination with a seemingly absurd world. It is clearly seen when you view his entire series as a whole piece, rather than viewing the images on their own. Although he died in 1967 of pancreatic cancer, much of his work is still on display to this day, all around the world. He introduced a new style to surrealism art, and brought about an entirely new way of looking at art. With his paintings, his ability to present figures in a suggestive yet questioning manner made his work extremely desirable, especially during the 1960s. In fact, much of his work had been plagiarized and used in books, print ads, and other manners. Due to the distinct, eye-catching style, artists have tried to recreate his art to no avail, proving there can only be one René Magritte.